Maker's Gonna Learn family. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today's member only video is going to be on a card. We get lots of requests for new card cut files. And so I've made this cut file specifically for you all and for this project today. I'm very excited. We also have gotten several requests for Valentine's Day themed projects. So this is also a Valentine's Day themed card, but you could use this card for other things like anniversaries or just, hey, I love you, that type of thing. You've probably seen the thumbnail. It's a love stamp. This is a very fun card, and I'm gonna do the overhead camera in just a second, talk about supplies, and give you a little bit of information about why this is so special to me. But let's get started on supplies, and we'll get this project started. So here's a little story about this card. When I was a little girl around 1995, so 26-ish years ago, my grandpa Senesac gave me a card, and it was a little pink card, and he had the most beautiful handwriting in the entire world. And on the outside of the envelope, there was a love stamp. He was a stamp collector, and he loved, I think this was actually his favorite stamp. He had a ton of them, and he would put them on cards for us, and it was very, very special. I tried to find the card this morning, but I didn't have enough time to look everywhere, unfortunately. But I did bring a sheet of the stamps. So these are the stamps. So I just wanted to recreate this and have a really cute, something a little bit different. I haven't really seen anything like this before. So a little sentimental from my childhood that I'm bringing to you, and I hope you guys like it. It's going to be a super cute and quick card to put together. It is all cardstock. We do have a liner on it, and then I have the envelope in the same cut file. It's already sized to fit this card for you all with a liner as well. So this is going to be a very easy project. I would consider this a beginner project for sure. We're going to go over each individual step, so that'll make it even easier. But let's just talk about the supplies that we need. We need cardstocks. So I have an assortment of colors here just to kind of go with the stamp, and they're actually pretty close in color. You can see we've done a pretty good job there. So just some cardstocks. This is a medium weight cardstock that I'm using today, and then I'm going to be using my scoring stylus, my fine point blade, so you can make this with the Air 2 or the Maker, and then I am going to be using this Zig glue pen and my ATG gun. An ATG gun is a dry adhesive. It's a double-sided dry adhesive. If you plan to do any paper crafting at all, I highly recommend that you grab this, and I will link all of this stuff for you all. As always, I'm going to be using a standard grip mat today. This one is a little bit used, so my cardstock will stick to it, but it won't come off. Sometimes with the light grip mats and these medium to heavy weight cardstocks, I like a stickier mat, because when they start cutting sometimes, if they're not super new, then those light grip mats will let the cardstock move on you. So just a tip for that. But that's all the supplies we need today. Very easy, very minimal. And let's jump over into Design Space, and I will show you the material settings that we're using and how to change your settings so that you can use your scoring stylus if you want to. In Design Space, we're just going to go to upload. I have already uploaded this cut file, and as you can see here, I already made a just stamp cut file as well as a PNG and an SVG. So if you just wanted to cut this out and make like a cute sticker to put on your envelope or something like that, you can do that. But we're just gonna grab this specific cut file. And as I said earlier, I did go ahead and put the envelope. This is envelope number 5 that is available on Maker's Gonna Learn's website, but I just went ahead again, brought it into this cut file for you all and sized it so that everything is ready and perfect for you all. I like this card size as is. If you ungroup, you can click here and see what the actual size is. It will be 5.5 inches wide by right at 4.25 inches tall. So I think that's a really cute, not 4.25, I'm sorry, 3.75 inches tall. So I think that's a really cute size for a little Valentine. You could even make it smaller if you wanted to. My only fear was that when I started cutting out the little pieces for the 8 cent, the US 8 cent, which actually needs to be sent to the front. Let's see here. I was afraid that if I made it too small that these wouldn't cut very well with the cardstock or they would be difficult to place. So as is, this is sized really nicely. The only thing I need to do is go in and change these cut lines to score lines. If you have not done that before, it's very easy. You just select that cut line, you come up here to line type, and then you will change it from cut to score, just like that. And you can see that line changed from a solid line to a dashed line. Now what I want to do is attach my score line to my cut. So I selected both layers. I have this layer and this one selected. You can see over here, they're both selected as well. And then I just need to go down to the bottom right here and press attach. Now I'm going to do that for everything else as well. So I'll change this to score. I'll select it and the envelope layer, press attach. This is my liner, so I'm going to do the same thing, score again, selecting both those layers and attaching, and then one more with my card here, selecting both. Oop, I forgot to change it to score. And as you can see, sometimes it will, Design Space is being a little bit glitchy right now, and it will send your score line to the back. So let's just detach. And then we'll right click on that and push move backward. And then we can try and select both again and see if hopefully this time it works for us. Okay, it does. So then again, we will select that score line, change it to score, and then grab the card, attach. And we are ready. Honestly, we don't have to do anything else, which is really nice. If for some reason you wanted to change the colors of the stamp and not do a traditional love stamp color scheme, you could definitely do that at this point just by selecting each layer and changing those colors. But I like it as is, so I'm going to click Make It. And you can see everything is on these separate mats, which is what we want. Just make sure everything is as is. I did change my envelope to a different color. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that obviously on your canvas, or if you forgot like I did and want to do it at this point, then you just come up here and you can press Move Object, and then you can put it on, it won't fit on this mat, so we're going to need another mat. So we'll just change it here. I'm going to put red so that I can remember. Press confirm. And now we have everything situated how we want it. This needs to be moved up. And then we can press continue. I'm going to go ahead and select this first mat though. So we'll press continue. We're connecting to our machine. And then we'll load our mat with our cardstock. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and select the material that I'm going to be using. So I'll just type in cardstock and all of the cardstock options will come up. I want to select that medium cardstock option, press done, and then it wants me to load my single scoring wheel, but I'm not going to be using that today. I am going to be using the scoring stylus. So as you can see, I just pressed edit tools. Let me go back and do that for you again, just in case you didn't notice. Edit tools. Then I'll press scoring stylus, and then I can press apply. Now I can load my mat and put it in the machine. Okay, just lining up in the corner there and then smoothing my paper down. It's loaded, that's super easy, and now let's put it in the machine, and I'll go ahead and also install the scoring stylus. So the scoring stylus goes in clamp A, which is why if we can use it, we prefer to use it over the scoring wheel. That way we're not having to change it out in between actions. So it just goes right in there, clamp it down, and we are ready to press our flashing Cricut button. Okay, we can go ahead and remove our mat from our cardstock and put the pieces aside here. You can see how well this cut out, very cute. I love that edge of the stamp. And then I'll just remove this and discard, and then I can go ahead and refer back to Design Space and see what mat I'm going to be using next. So it is going to be using the red color cardstock. And since all of it is the same weight, I don't need to change the material settings or anything like that. I can go ahead and just load this into the machine and press my flashing Cricut button. Okay, again, we can go ahead and remove the cardstock from the mat for this one as well. However, I'm going to do it a little bit differently for these small pieces up here. I want to move this off first, and then I'm probably going to grab either my little spatula tool or some reverse tweezers and pick off each one of these individually. Just because they're so little, I don't want to accidentally rip them or something like that. So we'll just take each of these off individually. Now that I'm finished with that, again, I'm going to refer back to Design Space and see that my next colored mat is my green mat. So I will grab my green cardstock here, load it, and then load it into the machine again. Since we are using the same cardstock for same poundage cardstock, same weight cardstock, whatever you want to call it, then we do not need to change any settings in Design Space. Very nice this time. While that's cutting, I just want to come back over into Design Space and show you really quickly. If you're not familiar with using several mats, or maybe this is your first project or something, you can see that the mats that have already been cut have a little check mark there. And the one that is currently cutting is sort of highlighted. So now when I unload my mat, this one will come up as highlighted. So I'll just go ahead and unload my mat. And you can see this is the next one up. So that's the progression of using each mat and how you know which mat to put into your maker. Okay, we can remove this one as well. This one's not quite as delicate, so we didn't have to be as careful with it, but we're almost finished. We just have 2 more mats left, and this purple mat that we're going to be using, or purple cardstock that we're going to be using next, is a super quick cut. So it will not take long. There's no scoring or anything involved with it. Go ahead and load it and press our button. Okay, and once we remove this from our mat, we are ready to load our last piece of cardstock for this project. So this will be the envelope cardstock. And we'll be ready to put this thing together after this cuts. Okay, let's remove this last piece of cardstock, and then we will get to assembling our adorable card and envelope. Okay, I forgot to mention earlier that you are going to need a bone folder or something like that that you can just crease the score lines really well. But we are going to start with the envelope first and get it over with. It is probably the easiest part of this card. All of it is relatively easy, but this part is really easy. So all we want to do, I don't know if you can see on this white or not, but we just want to go in and fold over all of our score lines and crease them with our bone folder. So we'll do that with our envelope as well. Creasing those bottom lines, the sides, and then our top, just like this. And what I like to do is go ahead and put my liner in the card, just like this. We're going to line it all up, and then I will take my ATG gun and put a strip on the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter which one you start with, but just start with one. Like fold that down, and then once that's adhered, then you can do this part. So just a little bit of adhesive there, fold that down, and then we're ready to just fold this envelope up. These go in first, and then this. So what I have found easiest is to just open this up and put adhesive on this side and this side of the card. Again, we'll just grab our ATG gun here and put one little strip there on each side. Fold up and press down, and you have an envelope, a super cute custom envelope. these are just so easy. I had no idea how easy envelopes were until I started working here, and I'm so grateful that we have these cut files available. We have several envelope options, and it really is just adorable. If you missed it, I made a member only on envelopes. You can go back and check it, where I took a picture of my kiddos and I flattened it to this liner. So when you open the envelope, there's the picture of the kids. It's super cute to do that. So check that out. There are so many different ways you can customize things like this. But now that we're finished with that, let's grab our card stuff here, and we will go ahead and fold the card over and crease this score line, just like we did with the envelope. And then we're going to do the liner the same way. Fold it over, whoop, crease it. And then we can go ahead and put our liner into our card, and I'm going to do it the same way that I did my envelope. So I'll go ahead and line it up, fold down one side, and then put some adhesive on it. I like to put it on all four sides of a card. So then we fold this down, pull this up, and then put more adhesive on this side. If you are making cards, do not skip out on the liner. It is super easy, very quick, and it just makes your card really nice and thick and makes it feel really good and professional. When you're finished with that, you may want to score again just to kind of reinforce all those really good crisp lines that you're doing. But now that I'm finished scoring all of that, then it's just assembly. So this guy goes down first. Again, we're going to grab our ATG gun, put some adhesive on it. I love this dry adhesive because it's dry and I don't have to wait on it to dry. And the nice thing about it is you can actually roll it off. So if you put it on and don't like where you've put it, let me show you a little piece really quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I put adhesive on here and I'm like, oh, that's not where I wanted it, or then it just rolls off like this and there's no residue or anything. So that's really nice. It's a really cool feature some of you probably don't even know about. So once that's down, then we're ready to put this purple piece down. Again, we're just gonna grab our ATG gun, put some adhesive on it, and then you center this piece in the middle of the white piece. Just like this. And then we're going to grab, let's get these right here so that we don't lose them. We're going to grab these two pieces, and I like to go ahead and adhere these to each other before I put it on. It's just my personal preference. But what I'm going to do for this one, since this is a little bit more delicate, you could probably, if you were really careful, go in and put ATG right through here. I'm electing to use my Zig glue pen. So this does dry really quickly. So be very quick with it. Just put adhesive all over there. And then when you're finished with that, you'll line it up right here on this green guy. Just like this. The nice thing about a glue pen is that you have a little bit of time to move around, so I like that. But once that is finished, it doesn't take, like I said, it doesn't take long to dry, so just let it sit for just a second. I'm going to use this again in just a second. I'm probably actually ready to go ahead and flip it over. I'm going to use ATG on parts of this. So I'll just flip it over, put some ATG on here. And then the smaller parts, I'm going to use my Zig pen again. So just like that, that looks pretty good. And then I'll flip this over, and then it's going to go in the bottom, well, all the way to the left. Just line it up there perfectly, just like that. And then we are ready to put our teeny tiny little pieces on, and you're going to want a Zig pen for that or another adhesive like that. And then I like to use these reverse tweezers for this, just so that it's easier to place everything. So I am going to start with my C here. I'll grab it, and then I'm going to just turn it upside down with my tweezers. I'll apply the adhesive, and then I'm going to put it right here on my card. And you can refer back if you want to. You can refer back to Design Space to see where placement is and things like that. That's really nice. And then the 8, as you can see, was 2 separate pieces. I've lost the other. There they are. Okay. It's 2 separate pieces, so you do have to place each one individually. Not a big deal. I wanted to remain true to the original design, so that's why I elected to use this one. However, if you wanted to change out that 8 and do an 8 that was a solid one, you could do that as well. So let's put that on there. Then we'll grab this one. Do the same thing with this one. Placing it down there. Can move it around just a tiny bit there. There we go. And then we're ready to put our U and our S on. And we're going to be doing the same thing with it as well. So just make sure that you have the right side up that you're gluing. I don't want to glue this side or the wrong side and then have glue on the wrong side. So definitely make sure. I have to sometimes place everything and make sure that I'm doing it correctly when I am placing things like this. But this is our last piece. And we will be finished with this cute little card. Put it down, line it up here. Just like this. And then we'll let it set and dry. All right, everyone, I hope you have enjoyed this fun card tutorial. I hope you enjoy the cut files as well. I'm so grateful to be able to share a little bit of a nostalgic memory of my childhood with you all. And I hope that your Valentines that you make these for, love them as much as I did when I got mine when I was a girl. Have a fantastic day, you all, and I'll see you guys here next week for another member-only video.